Large parts of Cork City and County are underwater this lunchtime after heavy overnight rain caused serious flooding. Clonakilty and Douglas were worst hit. Residents were evacuated and hundreds of ESB customers are still without power as a result. The north also experienced the bad weather. In Belfast, homes were flooded and motorists were forced to abandon their cars. The fire and rescue service was at one stage dealing with an emergency call every 20 seconds. Flood waters in Belfast have since subsided and a clean-up is underway.
This was Douglas village in Cork as dawn broke at around 5 o'clock this morning. The overnight rain hadn't gone on for hours, but the sudden heavy downpours were sufficient to back up the drainage systems and send hundreds of thousands of gallons of water onto the streets. The floods came quickly and without warning.
My car is actually just behind the towpath line there. It's a blue Peugeot. It's under about 3.5 foot of water. It's nearly 4 foot, and I haven't got a chance to get to it yet.
Across the city at Park Court in Ballyvillan, residents were grappling with the floods from around 3 o'clock this morning.
It's the first time in Park Court, Ballyvillan, that it's got to this extent. So the place is ruined, the houses are destroyed. Something has to be done soon with the storm damage, the piping system. It needs to be done now. It's wake-up time.
The house is flooded, as you can see. It's up to your hip inside. There's things floating around. It's absolutely devastating.
At Meadowbrook in Glanmire, the floods came so quickly that residents were forced to flee their homes with only the clothes that were on them.
All the ground floor is totaled. The appliances, which cut the power because all the wires started sparking, televisions, DVD players. We shifted some of our precious little bits of pottery and whatnot, but kitchen table, dining room table, the whole lot, everything is gone. The flood is out the back and everything. It's floating in one door out the other door.
Cork County Council says it did what it could in advance to minimise the effects of the flooding.
Our staff know what to do the day before. They know to react on the scene. But unfortunately, floods do happen, and we can see it right across the country. They happen in different places at different times. Dublin had a flood event like this about a year ago, unexpected and hard to prepare for.
The shock of the flooding came today. The assessment of damage may only be possible when the floodwaters recede over the coming days. Pascal Sheehy, RTE News, Cork.
2 inches of rain in just over an hour brought havoc to much of East and South Belfast. Homes were flooded and residents had to be rescued by the emergency services. Many roads were completely underwater and some drivers had to abandon their vehicles. The damage was most severe in Cicely Park off the Lisburn Road.
It's a disaster. I've got 2 small children, 5 and 2, and how do we carry on a normal life and not panic them? But it's a disaster for us. It's health and safety above anything else. We've got dirty water in the house. We need somewhere clean to live. And it's just a mess.
The authorities have been severely criticised for not doing enough to prevent the flooding, and the minister responsible agrees that improvements must be made.
Plainly, the events of last night are not acceptable. I don't accept them, and I think there is an expectation that we will have to do more.
The aftermath of the flooding here has brought most of this area's MLAs down to press the minister responsible to do more to try and prevent this happening again. The residents here can only hope that the political pressure does work. Brendan Wright, RTE News, South Belfast.